What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are having a good day and had a safe 4th of July. In this video, I'm going to go ahead and break down a few things that you need to know about this special interview with Kahn and the Ecomi VeVe co-founders. And I'm going to break down several huge notes, why this brand that I'm about to point out later in this video that made $1.8 billion in 3 years, why it's more important than Pokemon, and I'm gonna go ahead and make that case. So there's also other notes I break down that are equally just as important, if not more important. So let's go ahead and hop in and get started. Alright guys, so obviously a lot of people have viewed this video, but I wanted to break this video down because I haven't watched any other YouTubers videos on this, or I've seen it anywhere. I just wanted to do my first authentic, genuine take on it, and my specific notes that I took down that I thought were super significant, and the first one being this one right here.
Have Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! David still does.
So let's back that up again.
Yeah, fast forward, I don't have Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! David still does.
All right, obviously that's a big deal. All right, David Yu still has Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh!, which are huge juggernaut companies and brands, right? Kahn obviously basically took Pocket Monster, turned it into Pokemon, picked the guy's name Ash, the main character in Pokemon, and obviously the rest is history. Pokemon, obviously one of the most iconic brands in the world today, and even today people are still, like, if you go to TikTok, it's all over TikTok, people collecting cards. Obviously I don't need to preach about that, but you know how big Pokemon is, so I just wanted to keep that note in the back of your head as we continue to break this down. I'll show you why that's so important to know. All right, so let's go ahead and move to the next note that I took.
We did that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Matter of fact, not to brag, but what the hell? Out of the top 10 historical successes in the kids business, we have 6 of them.
Wow.
So that's not bad. Now.
All right, so let's back that up. He said, let's just rewind it and play that just one more time so you guys can hear, because that is pretty crazy.
We did that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Matter of fact, not to brag, but what the hell? Out of the top 10 historical successes in the kids business, we have 6 of them.
Wow. So out of the top 10 brands in the kid business, Kahn has 6 of them. Okay, the guy is an absolute beast. All right, so keep that note also in the back of your head. So David Yu sells Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and Al even notates that. All right, he makes a big deal about it, so therefore it is a big deal. All right, and then Kahn has done 6 of those brands out of the top 10 in the kids business. That is also a humongous deal. All right, let's go ahead to the next segment.
1880s, and put his handmade dolls in different settings in that hospital.
So in this specific part, like 10 minutes in, he basically is talking about how he discovered Cabbage Patch, which is the brand I'm going to talk about right now. Okay, he talks about going to Cleveland, Ohio, I believe it was, and getting in contact with a guy that owns these dolls. The guy had like this hospital building he bought, and he was basically having these dolls set up in that small hospital looking building, and in the middle of the building was these patches of little dolls, and on top of their head it had cabbage, and hence Cabbage Patch. So what he did is he struck a deal with that guy, and in the next note here, we'll just fast forward it just a little bit so you guys can actually hear this.
We launched this thing, we made one-of-a-kind dolls. We did $1.8 billion in 3 years.
All right, so he just said he did a $1.8 billion in 3 years, which is absolutely insane. This is why I think that is a very notable moment, not only in Al's life, but in his journey up until Pokemon, right? If you look at Cabbage Patch, produced in 1982. That was a while back, guys. So $1.8 billion in 1982 and moving forward. I believe that's the company he was talking about in this interview. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. That is absolutely beast mode. And one of the big reasons why I think Cabbage Patch might be maybe one day coming to VeVe, maybe to Ecomi. He does mention let's go ahead and actually fast forward a little bit through this interview.
David Dan believed you can't start off with, with you have to start off with really a great selection of brands, because ultimately and initially those brands have to define you, right? And eventually you define that brand. But initially you have to have those brands.
So what's very important to notate here is he's talking about branding, okay? So what he's saying, and I think he kind of said that backwards, but it makes sense, okay? He said you pretty much have to go out there and you have to have a great selection of brands up front to essentially attract those bigger, more iconic brands. And obviously with him partnering with Ecomi and VeVe, he knows exactly what's going on and what they're doing, and what we've seen up until the point where Marvel has announced that it's going to partner with VeVe. So it's absolutely, Alan knows exactly what he's doing, man. He's been in this game for a solid minute. Obviously, look at Cabbage Patch Kids, who's also sold to, look at the company right here and the timeline. Okay, sold to Hasbro, Mattel, Toys R Us, Play Along, Jake Specific, Wicked Cool Toys. So anyways, I just want to throw that out there too, that these big iconic brands have been held or bought by other iconic brands. So it's actually pretty insane, right? So there that is.
And talking to the presidents of Warner Brothers and presidents of, CBS and all the other people, trying to get them to understand this. But I think
And then he notates like going into how important it is to have a certain set of brands when you're going into talking CEOs, presidents of big giant corporations to appear like you're a big serious player. You have to have some clientele, in the portfolio. You got to have some clients at the door, or in your business ready to go. So if I was to knock on president's door, I would be taken serious, right? So I think obviously Alan knows what he's doing. And that's why I think obviously Cabbage Patch is a big deal, because we could see some other big platforms. Well, it led up to Pokemon, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at. Because Pokemon, obviously, look at the timeline there. You can see the historical timeline. So it says it was in 1995. All right. So Al is basically a beast at knowing what brands, what to look at, what company, what it has to offer. He can take, basically, he just has all this locked in his head, and he's like a genius of doing this, right? So that's why I think Cabbage Patch is absolutely, in my opinion, is more important than Pokemon, because it formed his his successes. It's formed his, knowing what to look for. He even compares it on, I believe, LinkedIn, on one of his posts where he was talking about how essentially how VeVe basically reminds him of Cabbage Patch Kids, and I think he said another brand, which is obviously another big brand. So, and he actually talks about a lot of that, his experiences with his previous successes and things like that. So I thought that was really cool to hear from him, his journey, what he knows, what to look at, parallels that he sees with VeVe and Ecomi. And so I think that's why, in my head, Cabbage Patch is super important for the future days. Obviously, the success of Ecomi and VeVe and where it's going, and hopefully one day we'll have a big brand like Pokemon, and why Al essentially came out and said in this video that David Yu still has Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, and Al doesn't. He also says right here in this part of the video,
we'll be saying, what the heck is that? And I think about those names, whether it be Cabbage Patch Kids, whether it be Pokemon, whether it be, Ninja Turtles. And I remember David said to me, Al, I want a 2-syllable name. Thanks, David.
So there he mentions Cabbage Patch again, right next to Pokemon. All right. And then I believe, I don't know what other part of the video he mentions Cabbage Patch Kids, but Owls basically says, oh, we got the license to Cabbage Patch again. And then he says basically that, if you know what I mean. And basically what he's saying is he's trying to bring Cabbage Patch to VeVe, essentially. And at least that's what I got from it. So basically he said, I got the license to Cabbage Patch again. obviously because it's changed hands throughout the years, to all these companies that I was telling you guys about, like Hasbro, Mattel, Toys R Us, which unfortunately I think closed down most of their stores just recently. So rest in peace, Toys R Us. Right here, you're in my heart always. Anyways, Play Long, Jack Pacific, and Wicked Cool Toys. So this is a company that all the VeVe YouTubers should be taking a look at, and all the influencers, and kind of doing the research about this company. All right. So I'll be taking a look at it after this video, to be honest. But anyways, he just says that, and then comes out and says, "Yo, you know," and hopefully we'll see something soon. Basically, that will come from it, and hinting at maybe it'll be on VeVe. All right. So that kind of is very important for me personally. So I thought that was a very important take, as far as that goes. And
I've seen so many
moving on
companies-
from the Cabbage Patch, we'll be talking about essentially what me and kind of some other people were suspecting was that they were kind of maybe purposely squashing some hype. So Rhys kind of mentions that.
Sure.
First 2.5 years in the community, Dan's directive was literally to squash the hype. Before
And the hype was literally squashed. All right. So, you know, personally, like, you know, I was thinking, yo, Ready Player One, like this year. And it was kind of absolutely ridiculous to think that way. And kind of like even Trevor was like, yo, you got to put a lot of resources and money into this project. And we may not see that. And not only that, you have to rely on other factors like wearables and AR, goggles, and like all these things to be more accessible to the public and more user friendly, right? So it's kind of funny because we kind of suspected Dan to kind of be doing that. That's just a funny thing, but I think that's cool because the hype really, what VeVe has done essentially is not only match the hype, it's kind of re-upped to me, you know, to the platform, and kind of got me, obviously I'm super excited. Like if you're a fudster out there, like you've been really choking, really having a tough time these past few weeks with the Alcon interview obviously getting released, Marvel dropping, you have Comic-Con right around the corner. They really haven't even like blown up on the marketing. So basically what I'm trying to say is like that's kind of funny, and VeVe is in a good position to just completely, they already have, like Rhys has always says, we've kind of cornered that part of the market, you know, the drops, the hype, the excitement, right? The user experience, like all of that. So I just wanted to notate that. I thought that was kind of funny. Dan was like the original Fudbust, or the original, you know, kept people down to reality is basically what I'm trying to say. But all of us YouTubers love to hype it up, which is it's just fun, right? It's just fun to not hype things up just because we want the bags to pump or anything weird like that. At least for me, it's to be just from the fandom perspective, having so much fun with it. And I think other YouTubers I know, you know, personally, that just love the platform, right? They're out there enjoying the collectibles and enjoying the experience. And personally, I couldn't ask for anything better, right? So let's go to the next note here, where what basically I've been saying from the very beginning. Okay. By the way, I think I mentioned it in the Omi Bear Spray video, or the Omi Bears Get Destroyed. This was pre-Marvel, all right? So like I say, companies that were yet to be announced, aka Marvel. So this was like a week before Marvel was announced. I was talking about that. I was basically, what I've been saying this throughout all my videos, essentially, is like people just, the fudsters are just, they have no idea what they're talking about. So, you know, it's these past few weeks have proven that and really have bumped up the trust levels, right, for everybody across the board. But what I was saying is people were just so impatient, and like when Alcon, when Marvel, when this, when that, and it all came to a head, or it all came like crashing down as far as the FUD goes. So I thought that was pretty funny, and yeah. So if you haven't watched that video, it's a good video. And it's basically, you know, wrapping up everything I said throughout all my videos in my channel about all the FUD, addressing it, and then literally a week later we had Marvel. So I just wanted to notate that, and I also wanted to notate what Kahn is about to say, which, like I said, I've been saying in all my videos leading up till Al actually saying it. So I just wanted to play it. Let's go ahead and hit play.
Is that VeVe becomes a marketplace for a lot of things.
All right. He says VeVe becomes, like his vision for VeVe is VeVe to become a marketplace for much bigger, or like basically much broader things. And I think I said it in this video as well, that like you don't even know, like I'm not even sure if VeVe team knows how big VeVe could be. Like literally like I literally say marketplace, the marketplace for other, like I was like, literally VeVe like as is could be like, they could literally easily make it into a huge marketplace for other IPs and other businesses want to come into VeVe just to be on the market. You know, maybe they haven't launched on VeVe, but they still want to come and enjoy all the users, the excitement that's going on in the VeVe community. And I literally said that in the video and a bunch of my videos, guys. So if you have been watching my videos, you already know. But if you don't, you want to hit that sub bell, man, because I told you so. And I've been telling the fudders a long time before this Al even said it. And now you guys know that, you know, how right that video was, but how right the community, you know, my channel has been about predicting all this stuff. And really, when I say predicting, we were just speculating, but we did it in an educated way. And I want to say, like, shout out to the community, man, for sticking with us, for sticking with me, and sticking for the rest of the content creators out there. You guys have been amazing, the real ones out there, man. So anyways, I thought this was pretty epic, and what he has to say after that.
And not just, you know, digital collectibles, but it could be experiences. There's a whole litany of things that VeVe could represent that could offer to a collectible universe.
So he's talking about even more, like it could be experiences. So you know, I don't know what that looks like, and you know, and I'm sure he knows what it looks like, because, and I'm sure he has very specific ideas, but he's obviously not gonna give away what that could be. But I thought that was very interesting to hear him say that, right?
It's not limited to just digital collectibles. It could be movies, it could be television shows, it could be.
And as you know, we've already know, and I guess he does kind of have specific ideas, but we kind of know, like Marvel, for instance, digital comic books are coming. Like those are type of maybe the experience he's talking about, movies and the social aspect of the app. I've been telling you guys like this.
Be, you know, all kinds of things that are collectible, but aren't necessarily just, not just, but in addition to what we're doing currently.
So yeah, like just like I was saying, guys, like VeVe could be so much more. Obviously, like the collectibles is amazing, and they're obviously going to continue to do that. Obviously, it's a collectibles app, but what I mean is like they could just add on top of what they're doing. Obviously, long run, right? Like this isn't going to be built overnight. This isn't going to be like, you know, it takes money, it takes time, and it takes resources, it takes people, man hours, sweat. The sweat equity that has to go into this is just amazing. And what's cool is he even talks about, you know, VeVe not being the Netflix, but more like a Walmart. And in my head, and like since I'm younger, I think of it more as like an Amazon, all right, where you have all these products in a digital space, aka Amazon. So that's what I think Al was more referring to when he said Walmart. Like it's more like an Amazon. But Walmart was the very first OG business in the brick and mortar space to do that, and it disrupted the entire space, right? So, and he's referring to VeVe as more like a Walmart, but in my head, in today's times, it's more like to me, like an Amazon. And I totally agree with that sentiment, man. VeVe could be literally it's already disrupted the NFT space. It's going to continue to do that, and it will continue to disrupt as they add on things and announce more brands. And in this video, they literally said, I think David said they have, like David and Al and Dan, or one of them, or both of them, or all of them, said we have hundreds of brands like lined up, and there's more brands coming. So this thing is just going to continue to snowball and turn into an absolute avalanche, and I hope you guys are ready for it, because it's coming. And it's funny because Dan was like trying to kind of the hype down, because they wanted that quality on the app, they wanted it there. And I'm so glad they did it the right way, man, and built the app. And a lot of people that were impatient, that sold off their collectibles, I'm sure now you're wishing you didn't do that, because these collectibles are going to be so valuable as time goes on. As NFT Pirates has mentioned in his videos, I believe the Comics Way has mentioned on his videos. Like, you guys are in for a ride, all right?
I think there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of exciting things, like I said, that we've identified. that, that I think are going to be fun. But I see this as a real lifestyle brand. And it's like, when somebody said, this is the Netflix of digital collectibles, I think we're far greater than that.
Totally agree, man. I've been saying it from the beginning. That one, Giancarlo, or however you pronounce his name, I can't, because one is spelled I thought differently, but it could be different. Anyways, that Giancarlo guy, he said in his video, and I was saying he should just redo that video because he makes a direct comparison to Netflix because the brands. Well, it's like VeVe, like you're forgetting who Kahn is, right? He's the head of licensing of these big giant brands, and obviously Ecomi. So I think they know what they're doing. I don't know if Netflix really knew what they're doing, but I know that Kahn knows what he's doing, and people are banging on the door of Ecomi and VeVe to get in to be launched on that platform when you're having drops that sell in split seconds or minutes or whatever, right? Either way, it's very exciting. This is literally it's just an exciting time. And he, anyways, he says all of that essentially.
I think we're far greater than that. I think we have a much more, we're the Walmart of digital collectibles, because we're going to have more things and more stuff and, and more ability to present things to you than you have in a big store. So I think, that's my hope.
Amazing. I'm sure that's about to become a new community meme.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I like that the way he put it there, like VeVe's gonna be able to present things in a much better way than what is available at a physical space, right? So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all I got. I'm gonna keep it somewhat shorter and not draw this video out too long, but let me know what you guys think, man. I don't know how you can be fudding still when there's all this excitement going on in the space, guys. Yeah, so comment, let me know what you guys think about the Cabbage Patch deal, I thought that was super important to bring up, and why it's so important to have brands like Cabbage Patch. Or in the beginning we've had Tokidoki, we had DC, and now leading up to that we have Marvel. And as this thing continues to go and chug along, hopefully we can get a brand obviously like Pokemon. All right, so that's it, guys. That's all I got for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know what to do if you like the video, you know what to do if you don't like the video. As always, peace, love, VeVe, and be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.